A Black Lives Matter protester has tested positive for coronavirus after attending a rally in Melbourne, sparking fears of the second wave of the virus in Australia. The man in his 30s marched with thousands through the city on Saturday and developed symptoms 24 hours later. The protester, who is not Indigenous, wore a mask, but health officials still fear he may have given the virus to others. Home Affairs Minister Peter Dutton said the case could be the start of a mass outbreak. "This realises our worst fears," he told Sydney Radio 2GB. "Now we could slip back into a second wave like other countries have." Victoria's Chief Health Officer Brett Sutton said it was unlikely the man caught the virus at the protest because if he had, he would not be showing symptoms already. "This case is unlikely to have been acquired at the protest, but we were all concerned about the possibility of transmission occurring at that protest," he said. "It's obviously helpful that the individual wore a mask, but masks are not 100% protection. Contact tracing is underway and anyone who came face-to-face with the infected protester for 15 minutes or more will be asked to quarantine as part of the normal process." Dr. Sutton, who warned people not to attend Saturday's rally, also urged people not to go to any future demonstrations. "We don't want people gathering in groups larger than 20 in Victoria because of the risk to others. It is my strong recommendation not to go and it is the law," he said. Treasurer Josh Frydenberg also condemned the protesters, saying, "People shouldn't have gathered in those numbers for those rallies. In doing so, they put the broader community's health at risk." That was the obvious message from the medical experts about those rallies. And it was very unfortunate that they proceeded in the way that did. Black rights protests sprung up around the Western world in response to American demonstrations following the death of black security guard George Floyd in police custody in Minneapolis. Thousands of Aboriginal rights activists attended rallies in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane and Adelaide on Saturday despite health officials warning they could cause COVID-19 outbreaks. This morning Prime Minister Scott Morrison slammed the protesters and said he wanted anyone attending future rallies to be charged with breaking public health orders. "I think they should. I really do think they should, because there'll be kind of a double standard here," he told Melbourne Radio 3AW. "I think the issues of last weekend were very difficult, but I think people carrying it on now, it's not about that. It's about people pushing a whole bunch of other barrows now, and it puts others' lives and livelihoods at risk." Mr. Morrison added, "I saw some people say when they attended this rally, 'Oh, I knew the risk I was taking by attending.' They were talking about themselves, they weren't talking about the Australians who weren't there, millions of quiet Australians who have done the right thing." The Prime Minister said protesters had prevented more restrictions being lifted as health officials wait 2 weeks to see if the demonstrations cause a spike in cases. "By all means, raise your issue. But by doing this, they have put the whole track to recovery at risk," he told Sydney Radio 2GB. As state leaders face growing calls to lift more restrictions, Mr. Morrison said, "The rally last weekend is the only legitimate blocker." Deputy Chief Medical Officer Professor Michael Kidd said it was too early to tell if the protests will cause a spike. The incubation period for COVID-19 is 5 to 7 days, up to 14 days. So we will only start seeing new cases occurring if that transmission had occurred on the weekend over the days ahead, he told ABC News this morning. "We're continuing to be very cautious and obviously we need to see what happens over the next few days." In total, Victoria reported 8 new cases of coronavirus on Thursday, 2 in hotel quarantine and 6 from community transmission. New South Wales reported 0 new cases and Queensland reported 1, a returned traveller. Thank you for watching our video. Please show your support by subscribing to our channel and turn on the notification. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook and Reddit for more videos.